Welcome to the road to 56, and this start screen goes hard. And we are once again on our A to Z path, and we've landed on the Dutch East Indies. Let's turn Iron Man mode on. Let's see what we have to work with. Welcome to the road. Do have a focus tree. It's a workable focus tree. Unfortunately, it's not one of the best. So, the Dutch East Indies. What are our logical things to do? I would say make the East Indies or Indonesia great again. So this campaign's goal will be to unite the Malay peoples. Yeah, we're gonna need all the Malay states, which means fighting the British, and we're going to need the Philippines, which means fighting the US of A. Well, unless you play Honest Oracle, I guess you could get your way that way, but that's not fun. We want to fight everyone. And the first step in fighting everyone is getting rid of your entire military. What? And we'll also get rid of these aircraft. There we go. We'll build a couple of military factories. Let's build like 3 and then a couple of dockyards. Yes, we will need dockyards because, you know, geographically, the Navy is going to be a requirement. We need to take out Malaya. Yeah, the Philippines. To go here, we must naval invade, and that requires naval assets. Speaking of naval assets, in our focus tree, we have request naval autonomy. We can ask the Dutch if we can have some of their ships and research. We're gonna start out with a bit of industry. We don't have much in the way of industry, but we can get something, and once we can start selling our copious amounts of rubber and oil, maybe we can get something going here. Now, for production, like I said, we don't have much. We have exactly no military factories. No mills, great. When we do get mills, we'd like them to make guns. And we have one available dockyard. Build some convoys for now, I guess. We don't have the designs for destroyers or cruisers. We don't have the experience either. So that's future. We'll build stuff later. Okay, at least we're getting 4 civs from trade, so there is something to this, but our overlord's taken 3 in return. I don't like our overlord. I think independence would be in our best interest.
All right. If it'll make you happy, I'll overthrow society.
But first, let's see if they'll give us boats. Give me the boats! We will seize this opportunity. All right, that gives us 4 ships. It's not much. 2 lights and 2 destroyers. It will do. Now, for a political direction. See, reaffirm our loyalty could play an interesting campaign. The Jewel of the Pacific, and you play a loyal, supportive Dutch East Indies. Yeah, could be fun, could be interesting. Not what I want to do today. Instead, we are looking for expansion, territorial expansion. There's really only one way to go. This sees us fighting Japan. That's all well and good, but I don't want to fight Japan. I don't have a navy for it. And the rest leads us down here. Where we essentially go up against the colonizers, which means, yes, it's time for another fascism run. I know, the world could always use another fascist dictator, it seems, and I will provide. The reason fascism is a pretty good call for the Dutch East Indies is if you're not playing a loyalist nation, that is. If you go communist, yes, you can easily fight everyone, really, including the Japanese, but you won't really have support. Stalin's navy might as well not exist, and it's just not gonna help you that much. Land troops, great, but he has no naval assets, and you do need naval assets, and that is what Japan can bring to the table. Naval assets. All right, radicalize the nationalists, the way to freedom. We'll go and grab ourselves a little bit of fascismus, and then rush our way down to the January coup, where we will become independent. All right, when we finish up this one convoy here, we'll start making the shitty destroyers that the Navy will need as its backbone. Cheap gun, decent engine. We'll give them the escort fleet. Rather, we'll just give them nothing because I want to go with the Gouvernementsmarine. That's not unlocked yet, but we'll pick that up later. So we'll just make these cheap as chips destroyers. They will serve as basically just screening. I'm also going to grab mechanical computing and possibly the other ones as well, because just the fire control is so important if you're doing a naval build not entirely revolving around carriers, which, spoiler alert, we don't really have the industrial base for. So cruisers it is. If you're going to go cruisers, you're going to need to have good guns on them, which is why we definitely want the fire controls. All right, today we're going to favor the radicals. This is the fastest route to independence. You could go with reinvigorate to PFI, which is interesting. It's a monarchist path, essentially, where you choose a royal candidate. The downside there is you're going to be waiting at least until 1939 because you need elections to happen. If you're going to do it through elections. Changing of the guards, yada, yada, yada. That's the annoying thing as well. That was the retirement of our Chief of the Navy, but I think the event is incomplete or broken, and his replacement never arrives. So we never have a Chief of the Navy. So that is why as my current admiral, I've picked essentially the weakest one because he can still get an officer corps role. So I can still make him a chief of the navy should push come to shove. The other ones are already assigned roles. So this guy, I can't give him a new role. So yeah. All right, the radicals are favored. I could do the January coup soon. That would break us free. And now we go. There we go. July coup. That should see us independent and our industry can actually start working again. After which we will take a little step back. We could cozy up to Japan here. It would get them off our back. Or we could do our own path, which creates a faction. I don't know if I want a faction or if I want to buddy up with the Japanese, but I think being friends with Japan means we don't have to fight them. We can still do that if we want to later on. Yay, the September coup. We're now the greater Indonesian state. That man has a serious case of, being above 30. Anyway, that means we are now independent, not in a faction. We can do whatever we want to whomever we want, and that will be British Malaya and the Philippines in future. I'm going to start by picking up a total of 5 dockyards from the East Java shipyards and then convoy production, and then we're going to boost our industry as much as we can. And while that happens, we wait. We can start making some guns. We're going to make this country great again. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Let's get things going. Removing colonialist influence. That sounds like a no-brainer. It moves the capital and we get stability. It just renames a bunch of stuff. Anti-Comintern Pact. Sure. Industrial centralization. We are going to work on industry. Extra factories, extra resources, all the way down here just to remove a lot of negative national spirits as well. Ooh, free research slots. Yes. We need a lot of work in this country. Gotta create jobs. Yes. All right, I'm also gonna pick up basic torpedoes because basic torpedoes on basic destroyers means a lot of big booms, and that means we can make some changes. So, cruisers. We're gonna make heavy cruisers with the cheapest heavy gun, the best engine I can fit. We'll use the raiding fleet for it, and then we're gonna slap on as many secondary batteries as possible, and the best fire control I have. I will add anti-air later, I just don't have it yet. Now, the purpose of these heavy cruisers is to be capital ships. That means they will be targeted by enemy capital ships. Fortunately, these are incredibly fast ships because they don't have armor and they have a decent engine, so these guys will bolt, meaning they'll be too fast to hit for most AI designs. The fact that they have mostly secondary guns means they will be trying to target the enemy screening vessels, meaning the enemy destroyers are going to get shredded by this thing's many secondary guns, which is really great because then those secondary guns are all going to be sinking destroyers. Yay! I love sinking destroyers. Now, you might be thinking, but Steve, what the fuck does that matter? You gotta sink the rest of the fleet too. Yeah, that is where our new destroyers will come in. So we'll take the design we already had, we'll slap on an escort fleet. Well, fire control doesn't really matter, so we'll slap on the torpedoes later. The destroyers are going to be tanking shots and screening for my heavy cruisers. My heavy cruisers are going to be, kiting the enemy fleet by being too fast to be hit. But when the cruisers do start sinking the enemy screens and gaps appear, that's where the destroyers come in. I'm researching their torpedoes now. They will fire their basic shitty torpedoes at the enemy capital ships, sinking them that way. It's a big old 1-2 punch, and I hope it still works. I'm a little annoyed that despite not being a colony anymore, we still have colonial economy. I think there's a way out of this, but it's like way down here. Yeah, it's economic independence. I feel like being independent should kind of just remove that, but it's a minor gripe. Something else I need to figure out is trains, because I don't have trains. That's gonna complicate logistics for us. Anyway, we have figured out how to make those torpedoes work, so we'll slap them right in here. Let's add torpedo launchers to our destroyers. These will be the basic destroyer that destroys, and later on, should we find ourselves with sufficient dockyards, we can also build specific sub-hunting destroyers, and we can build spotting cruisers. In terms of doctrine, fleet and being is the obvious one since we're going to be stuck with destroyers and cruisers. But base strike is so cool if you can get the carriers out. The carriers are just, but it's just not realistic. It's just not realistic for us to expect to get carrier groups. I can barely produce like a couple of cruisers. And look at this. This should fix our education reforms, speed up research, and give us cheaper advisors. You're gonna need it. And then all in on extra factories here. Philips Radio. And then economic independence. I would like to be independent, yes. All right, time to pick up some cultural norms. Stability, factory output, resource gain. Yes, very good. Hierarchy, decent, I guess. Actually, that's actually pretty good, but 5% stability is, you know, Let's start with hierarchy, because I still have a lot of building to do, and then transition, maybe. Well, considering our situation, we are going to need Marines, obviously, but we're also probably gonna need, well, radios, probably gonna need jungle infantry as well, considering, you know, the whole place here is jungle. Well, at least we now have ourselves a heavy cruiser, the pride of the fleet, the KRI Irian. Dear God, I hope it doesn't suck. Let's just go with ground battle plan. That will allow me to get tip of the spear, which is gonna be great for our Marines and jungle fighters and all that wonderful stuff, as well as logistic focus, considering, you know, the jungles. And there goes my leader. Okay, who do I get? Bottom guy is good for factories or consumer goods. Top option is political power and factory output. I think factory output remains like a good thing throughout the game, whereas consumer goods does kind of cap out. Let's go with the top option, in fact. Ugh, he's even more into his midlife crisis. Yeah, just cut it all off at that point, dude. And economic independence. The industry might actually pick up now. Let's get another research slot after the university here. I could get the agreement, which would see me join the greater East Asian co-prosperity sphere. I'll just join the faction. There we go. Not gonna join your war. Not interested in that, but I'll join your faction. Jesus, it's January 39. I have 11 divisions, which is more than likely not gonna be enough. Maybe I can take out Malaya first and then count my blessings. All right, let's see if we can bully the Portuguese into giving us some stuff. It's not required for the greater East Asian state, but well, if they'll give us that, why not? We can also see if we can bully the Australians into giving us a slice of New Guinea. As far as the army's concerned, so this is going to be like the main fighting strength, 13 infantry divisions, and we're going to supplement it with some Marines. We'll integrate jungle fighters into the base division here to eventually make most of these jungle fighters, and then this is just irregulars, just militia, irregular infantry to guard our ports, because I do not want to spend a lot of money on it. Yeah, I can afford to slowly start integrating some jungle infantry. I don't think it's like the optimal thing to do. Maybe I should just create a jungle infantry version of this. No idea how this works. Might as well make a jungle template. These guys will be fighting in the jungle. These guys will be fighting in the jungle. I'll just convert these couple of divisions to the jungle infantry. I can afford that. And that's about it. These guys will probably be facing off in the jungle as well, so I'll convert these as well. All right, well, let's ask the Australians as well. Victory for diplomacy. They just signed over their stuff. It's occupied territory, so it doesn't really help much in the way of giving me stuff, but I'll take it. Ah, they said no. I do not just want to straight up declare that war. That would not necessarily go well for me. I'm not quite ready. No, the area's not relevant, so I'll just, very well. You can keep it. I don't want it. Let's first grab the last bit of the army tree, get some extra officers, get rid of this national spirit entirely, and then we'll go in on British Malaya. Just take out British Malaya first, consolidate this front, and then before the Royal Navy can start throwing a bunch of ships at me, I'll try to make a quick invasion of the Philippines happen. All right, it's January 1940. It's been long enough. The last couple of bonuses I'll pick up later. First, we implement confrontatie. We're gonna pick a fight with Britain. We will pray to God that this is sufficient. 3 heavy cruisers, 16 destroyers, 2 light cruisers. All right, confrontatie. There we go. Let's not immediately pick a fight with the Philippines. Yeah, we'll just probably wrap up the rest of our military branch, slow the game down, declare that war. Deep breaths. I'm not going to draw the Japanese in yet because that will go poorly for me. We'll do that later. So there we go. Over there, we'll declare that war as well, just so I can catch them with their pants, well, the proverbial pants down, I suppose. Capture as much land as possible before they can counterattack. And you boys head on over to that port, seize some land. Over here, simply attack. And here we also attack. And over here, we'll spill our Marines over into Singapore. Hopefully, we'll be able to seize the peninsula with just 4 Marine divisions. I don't have anything. Oh, no. The enemy do have a lot more supremacy. That's not good. Well, at least we got Singapore. And from here, we take the rest of that peninsula. See if I can bait a fight with some of these Royal Navy ships. Go convoy raiding in the Straits of Malacca. At least the jungle fighters are doing well, and our old overlord is gone. Well, shit. They've just taken the Aru Islands off me, and I can't take them back, because there's no way for me to get naval superiority in the region. I'm having a lot of fun here. Oh, and of course they've got divisions there, and I'm not able to invade, and I'm... Oh! So effectively, I mean, the run is pretty much over. Oh, so it begins. The endless naval invasions are going to start coming my way. All right, I'm going to split off 2 of these light cruisers. I'm going to see if I can refit them. I need to find the enemy ships so I can sink them. So I'm going to cram this thing full with floatplane catapults, I guess. Anything to give it more speed and spotting. We'll do that. They immediately retook Singapore, because of course they immediately retook fucking Singapore. Through sheer determination and shenanigans, at least Singapore's reclaimed. I have no realistic way of getting this island back. All right, we have our death charges. We have our other things. I forgot what they're called, so we're going to change this design up a little bit. Like, ideally, I want to keep this as my cheap frontline destroyer. I don't have the luxury of multiple production runs, so we're going to have to go suboptimal. Slap in some hydrophones and slap in as much anti-submarine warfare as possible. Right now, we'll limit it to 1, and then later for newer destroyers we'll make more. Relatively cheap to refit, 7 days if we commit to it. So we'll start adding depth charges. Just a little bit more naval experience so we can fill this top rack with depth charges. They're a little more expensive. Ideally, I want to use the roach approach. But we're gonna need to use a multi-tool. We're not industrially powerful enough to get 1 of each. Yay! First minor naval engagement. At least we'll get to sink some of these stupid ships. Please tell me you're... Oh my god, you're worthless. Damn, no way! Italy do it? Holy shit, Italy capped Egypt. Well, I got my naval engagement. Methinks it's... Oh, okay, so this may not exactly have been a perfect matchup, but I think we came out of that one on top. All right, I'll take it. I'll take that as a small win. Now everyone needs to immediately repair. Let us get the Philippines liberated, and then we'll draw the Americans in as well, because why not? All right, got my war goal in the Philippines. There is no way in which this could possibly ever go wrong. The Navy is providing as much support as it's going to. God, I hate what they did with the new system. If you're a minor power, you're just fucked. Ah, but it's historical because, you know, radar is a huge research investment. It's such a critical part of several game mechanics designed around being simply researchable by anyone, that by changing it up now in the way that they've changed it up, it just fucks every minor power. Because radar is so impactful in air combat and especially naval combat. Oh, thank God for that. All right, we're retaking the island. If we can take that, just garrison it and then throw everything at the Philippines and hope to God it sticks. All right, I guess we're go. Let's declare war on the Philippines. May God have mercy on our souls. All right, sweet. They forgot to keep their navy deployed. Gives us an opening. Oh yeah, that's pretty great. We're actually finding their subs. So the sonar installations, good investment. Slap on even better sonar for the future. And then we'll start adding radar once we have it to the spotting cruisers. I do need more naval experience though. No way! Italians! Italians have just solved the problem. They've just taken Jerusalem for themselves. What the hell? Is this a competent Well, he's lost half of Egypt, so yeah. This is a vaguely competent Mussolini. He's seized the Suez, and he's wreaking havoc in the Middle East. That might actually end up being a vaguely competent Mussolini. That's good for us. Italian East Africa is also still there. Anyway, while I'm waiting for that, let's see if we can figure out a proper light spotting cruiser. So cheap ass rapid fire gun, big ass engine, whatever makes them faster, maximum speed and reduced surface visibility. And then cram that thing up here full of aircraft facilities. Now, this thing should be really good at finding the enemy. We'll slap on some hydrophones as well. Radar is gonna have to wait. Simply don't have radar yet. We'll install some anti-air. The purpose of the AA is quite simply make sure we don't immediately sink to enemy naval bombers. Two-pronged attack. That's Americans. I don't like to see Americans there. I think we'll be able to take the city after all. Well, campaign's turning into an unrelenting pain in the ass, but I think we're about done with the Philippines. Once I can land on Western Visayas, whatever the place is called. Yay! I got the island back. That means I can unite the Malay people The greater Indonesian state will be known as the Malaya Irridenta. I don't know why they went with that name, but let's press the button. And everything's red and shit. Okay, I'll need to integrate the industrial markets to make everything not shit. Oh my god, everything's terrible. Well, let's fix the army first, and then I do either the administrative structures or the industry. The administration first or the industry. Let's go with the administration first, and then once we get political power again, we'll do the other thing. Once we've connected the islands, we also have this focus tree here that we can use to boost things a little bit more. The Malayan Federation, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We are this now, and we actually have a bunch of extra military factories. Like a bunch of extra mills. Let's put them to good use. No fresh... Oh yeah, we also have fresh dockyards, so everything is starting to become much better. God, I love this. With the need to occupy all these cores removed, I suddenly have manpower, equipment, I have steel, I have what I need, I have my cores, I can fight, and I will fight. So we're gonna start off by taking this off the Commonwealth of Australia, after which we take the Commonwealth of Australia off Australia. We'll do some island hopping in the region, maybe assist the Japanese in taking out China. And then, I don't know, the Americans are in, so there's no point in going to the UK now. But we'll see where we can declare victory. Maybe when we've properly humiliated the colonizers. From here, we can actually build up. We'll be a proper country again. I'm a real boy. Now, considering we now have a reasonable level of industry, I am tempted to go for carriers anyway, but I really shouldn't, but I really want to, you know? I really shouldn't, because I think I have a bunch of other stuff that does definitely need researching. But come on! It does look like Barbarossa has been kicked off. This could end up really well for us if the Germans win, or end up really poorly for us if they horribly lose and the massive distraction disappears. I do love having these fast attack ships because all of them have like a speed greater than 30 knots. They're capable of catching pretty much anything that gets spotted, and then it sinks. So we're definitely tearing into these submarines that we're finally able to find. Well, with the war in the Pacific coming to a bit of a... It's called a stalemate. I sing something, they sing something. I've decided to throw my lot in with the Japanese in China. And we have done a bit of pushing. We've taken out Huangxi with a concentrated push, and we've systematically been dismantling what remains of the Chinese military. Hot damn! It does look like Germany is, Ooh, they're doing really well. So Moscow fallen, Leningrad fallen. Nowhere near Stalingrad though. So the south is a mess, the north is a mess. The center's pushing on steadily. Italy, meanwhile, has managed to lose everything, as usual, and Japan plodding along. We're definitely doing the heavy lifting here. It's costing us men. Fortunately, those are expendable. Final drive, come on, they barely have anything left. Unfortunately, Japan sucks. Fortunately for Japan, I don't. Fall of Xi'an will see their fate. Oh, well, don't even need to get there. There we go. We have finished the job. I don't really want anything there. Maybe I'll take an island. Just a small island. There we go. Problem solved. We've got the Commissariat of China down here. That's the only things I could take. Nanning and Hainan. And up there, because the AI was not interested in it, I have puppeted Ma. Because of course I've puppeted Ma. Why wouldn't I? And with that, the war in China is over. No more war in China. And Japan's just fucked itself. They decided to declare war on Xinjiang clique, which is fine, except for the fact that their independence is guaranteed by the Soviet Union. Why are you like this, Japan? Well, while Japan's fucking around, we'll see if we can get a foothold in the colonies. We'll see if we can seize parts of Australia. G'day, mate. G'day. Let's try to take as much of this area as possible, set up shop, and then move on. Our jungle assault here has been able to push through a lot of the resistance in India, so Burma, and then we'll be able to, yes, make it to the Dominion. A little surprised at the effectiveness of this push. Have pretty much rolled back the entire Burmese front with just the jungle offensive. Now, these are jungle infantry, so they're bound to perform well in, you guessed it, jungles, but the rate with which we've pushed has been somewhat surprising. See if I can get to like Calcutta that line, and after that, I think I'm gonna leave it up to the Japanese to make the rest of the push. Now, those idiots in Iran can hold out long enough, I might actually be able to link up. We're going through India like a knife through butter, which has me believe the Dominion is not actually as strong as it looked on the map. Yeah, they don't really have a lot of divisions. I'm thinking there were a lot of divisions there, and they've either been encircled or withdrawn. Either way, the road is wide open. We will assist the Shah. This is going surprisingly well. It's a lot of encirclements as well, so I think we may have been able to kill off several divisions in Burma. I figured out how radar works. Oh, yes! Oh, that's good. That is actually really good. Does mean I need to integrate that onto my spotting cruisers and potentially build a couple more. Slap this baby on there. Oh, we can find so many ships with this bad boy. That's what we want to see. Ooh, I think we actually tangled with a real navy, and we did not lose a single vessel. 4 heavy cruisers and some destroyers sunk. Oh, and the battleship went down as well. We tangled with a real navy, came out on top. Let's see just how fucked up the navy is. Not very. Oh, we're starting to get where we need to go. We're starting to get there. I think we'll be able to tackle most enemy ships now with this current setup. So the destroyers are good enough, and the cruisers are really capable of smiting mine enemies. Yeah, even looking at like the overall naval picture, we are doing really well. They're no longer sinking our convoys as much, and we have sunk so much stuff and haven't really lost much. We've lost 17 destroyers recently, but we've sunk 114 in return. I call that a win. Behold the pride of the Malay Navy, the KRI Sumatra. 1936 carrier, fully decked out, ready to rock and or potentially roll. Yes, I could put a radar dish on it, immediately refit it when she's done. Gods, I love this. I love this. I've got a carrier. I have a carrier fleet. There goes India. It means I can bring my boys home. We'll reorganize and probably throw these wholesale at the Commonwealth nations of Australia, the Dominion of New Zealand, and then a bunch of these stupid islands that America took. And then we take our eyes to the big prize, the United States of America. Don't know if I'll actually invade them, but I'll definitely be taking Hawaii off them. Finally, a battle worthy of our talents. Now that's a big fleet. Don't have enough escorts, so I think their big fleet is gonna sink. I actually think I have the advantage here. It may not look so much like it, but they don't have the screening to stop me. And I might actually be able to catch some of their big boats with my torpedoes. At least there's a cruiser gone. The other stuff's gonna get away. If I can catch it again. Oh, yes. Yes. I love that. Spotting cruisers are such a vital piece of the puzzle. There we go. Caught him again. They can find any fleet running away, and then if your strike force is fast enough, you can catch them, and this is what happens. They were mauled, running to port, but a fast strike force managed to intercept, and, well, there goes their navy. That's, Yes, the KRI Sumatra immediately making itself useful there. And another domino falls. The Commonwealth of Australia is stained with Americans, but gone nonetheless. So New Zealand and the islands next. I will kill them all. Oh, America. 3 carriers and a battleship, and you sent them out with 8 destroyers. Get dunked on, Roosevelt. Get dunked on. And without the mighty Bob Semple tank to stop me, so too falls the Dominion of New Zealand. Peter, I know you're disappointed in me. I can tell from your looks, but it's over, Peter. Let go. Well, that's typical. Italy is doing in Italy. While Germany is winning on all fronts, Japan is winning on all remaining fronts, and I'm sweeping the seas clean, inching my way closer to the United States. Mussolini's just done a Mussolini. And managed to... You look like a fucking potato. He's managed to lose his country. Oh, this fleet. I can't stop myself from winning. That's... How many carriers is that by now? because they have done magnificent things. That's the USS West Virginia, and I believe four carriers. That's an entire carrier group wiped. I think this is it. This is the moment in time where things become untenable for the Allies. The Republic of San Marino has joined the Axis. It's over. This is the Republic of San Marino. Well, Giuliano, good luck. Yeah, I guess luck just wasn't on their side. There is just nothing that can stand against this fleet. I keep sinking everything I come into contact with. It doesn't help that the AI apparently has given up on building any screens. I'm sinking them at such an extraordinary rate. Now, I'm taking damage, but nothing is actually sinking. So these ships are racking up kill after kill. This is our first heavy cruiser, the Irian. It has sunk 41 enemy ships and assisted in 72 kills. The first heavy cruiser I believe we built. Anyway, we are closing in on the Hawaii Ridge. I just need to chip away at the US Navy a teeny tiny bit more. And just like that, with really no resistance other than a little bit of a naval engagement out here, where we are sinking the remains of the US local battle fleet. Hawaii is ours. People of Hawaii, it is time to shake off your chains. The liberation is here. The colonizer is cast down. People of the Pacific, we are free. Next step, Los Angeles. I am an influencer, so I must go to LA. It's my biological drive. I think I found and destroyed the last intact US battle group. Holy shit! That cost me 2 carrier planes. I sunk 2 carriers, 2 battleships, 3 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, and 34 destroyers! Well, it's here. We've waited long enough. I'm going to LA, launch the naval invasions. We have used Hawaii as our staging ground. Unfortunately, due to range issues, I'm going to need to send my battle fleet out without destroyer escorts. That's just 10 Marines. I have 48 infantry divisions ready to follow up. If we can take one of these ports, the Navy can provide cover, and we are going to pour divisions in. Insufficient amounts of divisions because, you know, it's America. They'll probably have way more troops than I do. But if we can take a nice slice of the area, we can take LA and maybe California. You know, if I could just go to LA, I can start a podcast. I can start a meme coin. I'll be set. There we go. We are doing it. We've seized Los Angeles, San Diego, and, well, a good slice of California. My life is complete. I can hang with the podcast bros. I can start my own. Hell, I can start a meme coin. Nothing matters. Crime is legal. I'm here. Anyway, we'll do a little bit of damage, but overall, I'd say we've sort of done enough. We'll follow up to get a good foothold and see what we can grab, and then we'll call it a day. I mean, at this point, what does the US have left? I think hundreds of divisions left. They've taken sizable casualties. I've killed 1 million Americans, mostly through naval efforts. Speaking of naval efforts, yeah, I don't think the US has a navy anymore. The fall of Los Angeles. Heaven's gates have opened. Yes. We've taken San Francisco. Yeah, we have well and truly broken the back of the, well, back and every other bone in their body. So much for the American Navy. They have 7 destroyers left. The US Navy is gone. Anyway, we're trekking through Texas, heading to Houston. Nope, so much for Mexico. They're gone. Well, pretty much gone. I need to take the rest of these Marshall Islands because they'll bomb me, and that's just, wow. How rude. Mexico City seized. Ah, beautiful. Well, there go the Soviets. I'm not involved in this in the slightest, so we'll just pass a bunch of times until that's sorted out. And we are slowly but surely making our way into Florida. Lord knows why, but we're doing it. Huh. But India had already what? How can they capitulate twice? That's something I expect the French to do. It does appear we are in Washington. That is one burned out White House. Just a little more. And bada bing, bada boom. I think we've cut all the way through. Set up a front line. Take the last of the victory points. I did make a very beautiful encirclement here. It's magnificent, folks. I've seen encirclements. I know encirclements. And I'll tell you what, folks. Out of all the encirclements, this is the greatest. Probably ever. Yes. I just love the way he talks. as a massive tool, but he does talk funny. This is the last pocket we'll close up. Ooh, modern battle tanks. The first armored old Ironsides. Yeah, it won't get old today, and we're just walking up the front line. America has capitulated. The United States of America have bowed down to the Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere. Malaya Irredenta indeed. And on that note, and this bombshell, we're gonna call it quits here. 1947, my glorious primary battle fleet. 4 aircraft carriers. Magnificent aircraft carriers, some of the best in the world. I don't think I can see what I've sunk and lost over the last couple of years. It's been simply too long and it doesn't keep track of everything. But, baby, these ships have done work. The carriers have sunk significant numbers of ships, but our old flagship, the first cruiser we commissioned, the KRI Kirin, it killed 56 enemy ships, I think. Look at the honor roll on this bad boy. It's so glorious. In any case, this has been my take on the Dutch East Indies, or rather, well, Malaya Irredenta. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you guys will enjoy the next one as well. Now, I am going to Los Angeles to start a podcast and a crypto coin. Goodbye.